So our favorite market has been dumping, and no, it's not Bitcoin this time. It is CS skins, Counter-Strike 2 skins, one of the most reliable investments you could make. This is a chart that people would pull up from the beginning of this year. You can see Counter-Strike skins up and to the right, the S&P pretty much flat, Bitcoin flat, Ethereum down, but CS2 skins were performing and were actually making people money. You were beating basically every market in CS2 skins. Not so much the case anymore because there's been a reckoning from Valve. They have pushed out an update that terrified everyone, basically making it easier to get knives, which are the rarest thing to get in the game. Golds, knives, and gloves, the rarest things to pull in the game, which makes them more expensive. They made it easier to get it through trade ups where you can take 5 red items and get a gold item. Reds still aren't super common, but giving you another way to get these knives panicked everyone, made everyone very worried, as you can see from the market here. So CS2 market cap is 3 billion, or went down to $3 billion. Its all-time high of 6 billion basically got cut in half. So this one update pushed $3 billion worth of value out of the market, dumped it all. People are panicking. I think the biggest thing happening is China's panicking or panic selling. They are dumping everything and dumping the prices with it. But even if we look at prices now, I think this is people are pulling from Buff. I think that's what most people are looking at. So the all-time high is a little different here, 6.3 billion. Market already back up to 4.4 billion. Honestly, personally, I think this is not something that's going to be ridiculous and destroy the market. I think there's been countless times where people thought the market was going to be dead, and turns out it wasn't the end of the world, and it typically never is. Usually, in all markets, when you have massive reactions to something, it's typically an overreaction. Whether it's to the upside or the downside, it's usually an overreaction to something, and I think this is an overreaction. But to show you an example of basically what the update is, it's something like this. This person, you can see the trade ups, how they work. You take 5 red items to trade up to a gold, and this guy actually got pretty lucky in what he traded up to. We'll see when he trades it up right there. A butterfly gamma Doppler, a very expensive skin, multiple thousands of dollars. I don't think this one's an emerald. I honestly don't know that much of the difference between them. But either way, it's still multi-thousand-dollar skin. At least it was before. Maybe it crashed a little bit here. But this is what the investors are worried about, is that people will be able to just simply trade up to their most valuable skins in a way that they don't think is fair, basically, which is why people are panicking. But honestly, what you should take from this is these aren't investments. It's very cool, and I enjoy it myself. It is very cool to see skins go up in value, retain their value. You be able to buy a skin, use it, enjoy it for some time, and know, like, in a year or so, if you wanted to sell it, you could pretty much just get your money back and be done with it. And it's basically, you don't lose anything, right? Or maybe even make some money. But these are not investments. It's fun. It's interesting to see the market react. It's fun to see prices go up and stuff, and skins get more valuable or rarer. But it's, at the end of the day, you should not have all of your money in something like Counter-Strike 2 skins. You should have real investments to make sure you're all right, and use this as kind of a fun side hobby thing where if it explodes and makes you a ton of money, that'd be great. But if it goes to zero, it also doesn't, cost you massive amounts of sleep at night knowing you lost a bunch of money or lost everything. Because that's what a lot of people are doing. There's people, going to great lengths to basically... That's what people are doing. They're, extremely unhappy with this, and, taking some extreme measures or extreme reactions to this stuff, which you shouldn't. If something ties you up like that, it's not really a great thing, right? But we can see, looking at some of these prices, we want to look at the top echelon of skins. It's basically this right here: Gamma Dopplers, Pandoras, which aren't on here, but some of these, the gloves are usually going for more. I don't know how bad they got affected, but you can see these are very expensive knives for $9,000. And if you look at this, $9,000 is still insanely ridiculous for a knife in a video game, right? It's rare. If the market demands that price, that's what it's worth. But 9 grand is a ton of money. That can get you a lot more things than a skin in a video game, and you know, it probably better use for money. If you're a multimillionaire and you feel like throwing 9 grand at something, sure, who cares? But a normal person, probably shouldn't be doing this. But that's not even the worst part. It's not even the highest prices. Before this update came out, these were selling for $21,000. This peaks $24,000 at this peak, and then you see it dump down to where it is here. The last sale we can look was $9,200 7 hours ago. So people panicking, dumping this stuff, but also like these prices were insane, ridiculously insane. There's basically no reason for a knife to cost $25,000. That's a car, that's a house down payment. That is a massive amount of money where it only makes sense as a luxury good to like multi-millionaires, not to normal everyday people. And honestly, with this update, not only do I think people are freaking out way more than they should be if you're looking at the skins as a price or the economy, the skin economy, and looking at the prices and thinking what's going to happen here. I think there's massive overreaction because I don't think you're going to get a 50% increase in the supply of these very rare knives. You'll get some, but it's not going to be that insane, I don't think. And CS Flow actually put a tweet out talking about this, talking about the impacts of these new trade ups. Talking about here, there are 20 million coverts. So that's the reds that trade up to knives, including knives and gloves. Obviously, you're trading up to them. And even if you trade up every single lower tier skin to a covert, it only adds 9 million more. So every blue, purple, and pink, you trade up everyone in existence to a red, you only get 9 million more, so it's a total of 29 million here. So worst case scenario, if all 29 million of these coverts were traded up, it would roughly double supply of knives and gloves from 5.5 million to 11 million. However, that would require every single skin to be traded to a knife glove, and it is more likely that the total supply increases far less. So those are the numbers there. If you traded up every single skin in existence, you would double the supply of knives and gloves. Not only that, you would not double the supply of like butterfly emeralds, those things that were going for $25,000. You're not going to get a bunch of those. That's still very rare to get those. So you're going to have you're going to have some emeralds, you're going to have some terrible knives that go for $100. You're not going to get a massive influx of all these super rare skins. So again, the price, destruction we're seeing here, where the market went down to $3 billion from $6 billion, got cut in half in literally a day, I think is a massive overreaction. I don't think that this is something that in, a few months, I think people will look back and say, wow, the market pretty much either recovered or is on the way to recovery, and people were freaking out for no real reason. Could be wrong, right? I know there's some people think are bugs with float cap stuff. Getting factory new gloves pretty easily, which are the most expensive things. Someone already crafted I think it was factory new Pandoras, which were selling for $49,000 before this crash. I don't know what they're at now, but they crafted that for like $500. So there's some things going on that will drive prices down. I don't think it's going to be as severe as 50% drop being justified and stuff. But at the end of the day, these are skins in a video game. Shouldn't be looked at as investments. It should be looked at as a fun hobby thing where it's fun that your inventory has a value and that you can cash out for that. But the idea should be, I'm using skins because I want them and I want to use them in the game and I, want to do whatever with them. And then in the future, if I can sell this thing for what I bought it for or maybe a little bit more, cool, that's great. Most games you can't do that, so that separates Counter-Strike. But it should be viewed as that, not as an investment, especially if you have no other investments, right? But yeah, the market is cooked. Everything's coming to an end. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. So we'll see how everything turns out. I think the CS market recovers. in like 6 months, maybe a year, kind of either recovers or you see it on the way to recovery and people start to look back and say, wow, what a crazy time. We thought this was going to destroy the skin market when it really hasn't done too much. Let's go for this video. As always, don't smash button and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video.